Hi and welcome back to the Flow podcast with me, your host Nkosha. I know. This is not our usual setup, guys. Can I tell you where I am? Can I tell you? Okay, before I get to tell you where I am today, I am joined by two beautiful, amazing women, and we're here at the Snack and Learn Vision Board event. Yes, Vision Board event. I've never been to a Vision Board event, I have never done any vision boarding. So, this is very exciting. This is very new for me. So we're just going to dive into what we're doing today and what is this? What is this vision board thing? What are we doing? What is a vision board? How do you make a vision board? How do you even know you have a vision? So let's get into it. So we're gonna talk first to the lady that brought us here today. The reason for this event today. So Miss Kachusha, welcome to the
Hi.
Flow podcast.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. I have
Uh-huh.
always wanted to be here. I am happy that I'm here.
I want to say you're a liar because you're always throwing me towards other people, but then you never want to be in front of the camera. Why is that? Tell me.
Well, I lead by
Mm-hmm.
mentorship. I
Yeah.
lead by putting others forward.
Yes.
That gives me satisfaction because
Yes.
I don't always want to be there. I know there'll be a time I won't be there. So if I can mentor enough to do it, I'm satisfied.
Speaking of mentoring, you also had last year. You had snack and then mentorship program, mentorship event. Actually, the episode is the one that drops before this one.
Wow.
So by the time this one is dropping,
Nice.
the episode for the mentorship event would have already dropped. So this is the genius behind that episode, guys. Kachusha. So I'm also joined by another amazing young lady. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. My name is Habaalu Mutinta. I'm an HIV nurse practitioner.
Guys, bosses, I only bring the boss today. So, Kashusha, let's dive into it. What are we here to do? What is a vision board event? What is a vision board? And why did you sit down and say, this is something that I want to do and we should do it?
Thanks. So, a vision board is, well, your imagination put on paper so that you can constantly review it. I learned about Habakkuk 2 verse 2, where God told the prophet that he should write the vision down so that everyone that comes will follow it. Often we lose track of what we want to do. Often, even businesses, we have seen that people will start a business, but when they die, it dies with them. So a vision board then helps with the continuity. So today we are doing a snack and learn mentorship event, building up from last year's event of 2026. What next? So this is the what next now. Map up how we're going to achieve 2026. But of course, a vision board is like the biggest thing we want to achieve. But then we then bundle it in years. Like I want to be the first female president of Zambia. What am I doing in 2026 to achieve that? So basically, that's what we're doing. But also, stemming from a mental health conversation. You know, where are we? Where am I now? How am I feeling? And then where do I want to be and how do I want to feel? So from that conversation, then we really map up using, well, project management tools, but also leadership tools like the SWOT analysis. What is my strength? What is my weakness? What opportunities do I have? What are the threats? By being aware, it makes it easy for someone to then work on the skills now, but also ask for help. And then once you put it in a vision board, it's very easy for you to then be accountable. You know, this is what I wanted to achieve. Why didn't I achieve it? You learn from there and you just, your funny ideas, dreams in your head, put on paper and then running towards actualizing them.
Amazing. There's someone that sent me a message yesterday. No, not yesterday. A few days ago, actually. They said that they don't see any vision for themselves because sometimes they don't know what their purpose is in this life. And then there was this other person that also sent a message that said, I'm scared to share my purpose, meaning they're scared to write down their vision because they're scared of people copying them or like stealing their vision. So, what are your comments on that?
I think for the first person who said they didn't know their vision and purpose, it is true. It starts with purpose. It starts with identifying who are you. You know, we often wear brands like Gucci and all that because we don't want to unpack who we are, because maybe we don't know how to do that. So there are processes of identifying who are you. And with regards to purpose and vision, I think it's around understanding who are you. Like Miles Monroe asks 5 questions: who are you? Whose are you? What purpose do you have? How are you going to achieve that? What mission do you have? The moment you interrogate these 5 questions, already you see what your purpose is, and then now mapping up, what do I do well, also what type of a person are you? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? I think we need a podcast for that. And me and Mutinta are willing to come and
yes, we should, because now these days there's a lot of like identity crisis happening. A lot of young people don't know who they are, what they want to do, and whatever. Even with the people that just completed school, even grade 11s, when you ask them what you want to do, I don't know. They start doing what their parents tell them to do. But then, is that your identity? Is that your vision or someone else's? And also the rise of like celebrities, social media. We want to go with the trends, but does that align with who we are and who we're meant to be?
True.
Yeah. So why do you think a vision is important to you personally?
I think to me personally is around, if I know where I want to go, it helps me to then plan on how I will get there. So simply putting it out there makes me achieve it. But if I don't, it's just a dream. Usually they say you want to achieve something, but if you don't make steps, it's just a wish. But if you want it to happen, it then needs to be in action needs to come in, and so that's where the vision is. Sorry, I forgot the second question, where the response around not sharing, because people are going to copy. It is true that people will copy, but I always tell people that the same way fingerprints are different, even at 99, that 1% is what makes you unique. Oftentimes people will be like, you talk too much, you are this, and I'm like, that is the flavor I bring to the world. You will remember me because I talked a lot. You remember someone else because they smiled. You remember another person because they had that unique distinction. So we can all be the same, we can all be females, but that uniqueness is what makes us attractive, and people want to be in our space. So share it. They will copy it, but they will not unpack it the way you wanted it.
Of course, beautifully said. Speaking of vision and writing things down, there is an amazing vision board right here. It's beautiful. Can I just guys, like, I'm not even creative.
And it was done in a hurry, by the way.
In a hurry. But creative. I think I skipped my arts and crafts lessons at school, maybe preschool, somewhere there, as we went straight to grade 1, some of us. So can you explain your vision board? What is going on here? I will show you a picture at the end of the episode, but I just want her to describe her vision. Maybe some of us might get inspired by it. So go.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So just like Kachusha said, so a vision board, simply what it means, it's a vision that that represents your dreams, what you want to become, and also daily affirmations. So when you look at what I have, mine says this year is about impact, income, and legacy. So my vision is around these 3 things. So when you look on top here, it says my vision this year is about leadership, financial growth, and family. I'm stepping into a higher level in my career and building financial stability and creating a strong foundation for my son. By the way, I have a child who's just 8 years old. For my son and my mother. So I have my mom is still alive. I lost my dad when I was about 2 years old. So I have been with my mom. So this is what it's all about. So there is career impact. Remember, I talked about impact, income, and legacy. So there is career impact, leadership. So here it says clinical excellence. That's what I'm looking at. Global HIV and STI advocate. Remember, I mentioned I'm an HIV nurse practitioner.
Of course.
So I work around HIV and STIs. So when I talk of affirmation, so when you look at the career impact, leadership, clinical excellence, and global HIV and STI advocate. So here it says, I lead with compassion and strength. My knowledge and leadership create a lasting impact.
Wow.
So remember, I also mentioned about my son and my mom. So on my vision, I've included him, my son and my mother, love, health, and legacy. Health and strong child. His name is Wangu Kai. My son thrives, support and care for my mother is what I'm looking forward to. So the affirmation I have come up with is I create a safe, loving and stable home for my family. So this is what it is all about.
Okay.
I build a world that supports peace in my family.
Amazing, amazing. So I just want to tap on some of the things on this vision board and what you said. So let's talk about your work as an advocate for HIV and AIDS with adolescents, right? How does that work for you? What vision do you see in this advocacy work? And for the people that you work with, for the people that you advocate for.
All right, thank you very much. So, like I mentioned, I'm an HIV nurse practitioner who is not just doing her work, but I'm genuinely passionate about my work. I'm passionate about OPIs, I'm passionate about HIV and AIDS. So you discover that I'm spending most of the time with these adolescents. So when you look at the numbers that we have, most of the people that have been affected is the young people. And the young people are the ones I am working with.
And the numbers have gone up now.
They've gone up, yes, they've gone up. So you discover that these young people, the adolescents, they do not have anyone to talk to. They do not have someone to speak to. So I have created a friendly space for them where they can trust me. They know there's confidentiality. I'm able to speak to them. They're able to come and pour out their hearts to me. So with this vision board that I have created, I have one that is coming up. I hope we'll have this podcast with me again. So it will be centered around HIV because these are children. Others are born with HIV. Remember, others are not born with HIV. So these people need support. Remember, there is a stigma. So when they come to me, I am there to offer them the moral support. Remember, it's not all about treatment. They can be coming, but there's one aspect that we forget. Let's look at the person involved. When you look at them, it's either they are crying, then you don't know they're explaining about how to take the drugs. Minus you having eye contact with them, they're breaking down. So my role has been to explain to them what HIV is and also to reassure them to say you might have HIV today, born with it, or however you got it, it's not the end of the world. You can still live a positive life. So what do I mean by a positive life? Take your medication. There's what we call you equals you undetectable and transmittable. So here's a young child who's, let's say an adolescent who's about 20 years and they're already thinking about the future. Does my future end here? You can still go to university. You can still married to a person that is HIV negative. Is that possible? So I am there to assure them to say you can still have children that are going to be born HIV negative. That's if you're taking your medicine religiously, not just taking today, tomorrow you can take, but I am there to offer them the moral support, that support that they need.
That's very important. I would like to lean into that because most of these young people that have HIV and AIDS, sometimes it's not their fault. Sometimes they feel, why is it just me? Why is it happening to me? My friends don't have it. And some don't even take their medication because what's the point? And some feel like, I've been taking it for such a long time. I don't feel sick anymore. Is it still in my body? Why do I need to take it every day? Or some might also feel like, I don't even have a purpose. Like I have this untreatable and incurable disease. What then does my life look like? Do I have to just wait for the moment when my body just gives up on me? Does that mean that I don't have to make plans for the future? Because if I make plans, what if I don't achieve anything I write down? So, like in a situation like that with these young people, and you working in a space like this, and you working with these young people, what would you do then? What is your stance? How do you talk to people like that who feel like they're giving up on themselves?
All right, thank you. So, like I mentioned, I said I have created a safe space for them. So, I am there to explain to them what HIV is. So, we have a lot of young people that feel like giving up. So, when they come to me, when we have these the U3 meetings, I sit down with them, I explain to them what HIV is. I also find out what they know about HIV. Once they explain to them, I am there to offer them the support and also to give them the education to say, remember I mentioned living a positive life. What do I mean? So things have changed. Let's we now have the drugs. Okay, I mentioned about U equals U, which is undetectable and transmittable. So once you're on medication and you take your drugs religiously, what do I mean by religiously? I mean you taking your drugs at the right time every day. I'll give an example. If you let's say you take your drugs at 20 o'clock, meaning today yesterday you took at 20 o'clock, today, 20 o'clock, you need to take your drugs. That's not the end of you just because you're born with HIV. So it means you still have a future. You can still go to university, you can still marry, you can still get married, your children are going to be born with HIV. So what is needed for us to do, or rather what I am doing to these children and adolescents, pediatrics that do not understand, is to explain to them and tell them to say, you can live a positive life, take your medication religiously, take every day. You can still get married to somebody who's HIV negative, because what is missing in the community is people think if you're HIV positive, then no one will marry you.
Yeah.
If you're HIV positive, then you need to look for partner B who is
Who's
also
also,
HIV positive.
yeah.
But those days are gone.
Yeah.
So I am here to offer education, to disseminate the information to the community. Remember, I mentioned I'm an HIV nurse practitioner who's not only working with adolescents but also with adults, because we also have children we also have mothers, by the way, that are finding it difficult to open up to their children and to tell them. So you discover they tell them, no, you're taking these drugs because you put a cough. So when they come to the facility, then they're introduced to a person like me. I take them through the disclosure process to ask how old the child is. Then this parent to open up and say, I have failed to tell my child what has happened and how they acquired it. Remember, others are born with it.
Yeah.
And others, it's not everyone that is HIV positive, then they don't listen, all those things.
Of course.
So others are born with it. If they were given the choice, they'll choose to be negative.
Of course.
But I am here to assure them to say, what has happened is already there.
Yeah.
What does the future look like? So
Yeah.
here's how the future looks like. Take your medication. You need these drugs, and you need to be taking them every day. And the good news is these drugs are free. So you just walk into the into the facility, you get them. It's even better. So I encourage them by telling them to say it's better to know your status than not to know it.
That's beautiful. I'd like to throw back the same question to you, Kachusha. For people like this who are scared of planning for the future, or because of like death, I've been that person. I've been that person who has always been scared to plan, always been scared to write my dreams down, because I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months. Am I being too bold to write things down to say by 2030 I want to achieve all of these? But in the back of my head, and I'm just like, am I going to make it to 2030?
I think taking from Atomic Habits, where we're told that if you don't save a coin today, you will not be able to have any money at the end of the year. But if you save a coin today, you're going to be able to have 10 coins because you have taken a step. Planning is really out of our hands, but then it's something that we just have to do. I got a change of thoughts in 2021 when I had an emergency surgery and I had to stop work, to stop working for a month. I realized, yes, my life is in God's hands. But then I realized that God is a planner. We're told in Genesis that for man to be put on earth, he had to ensure the environment was enabling. So the first day he created what he did create, he separated everything. When man was coming, he had to just fit in. So a plan is just like that. If it is not laid down, nothing is going to fit in. And the moment you begin to plan, you see opportunities, you see networks, you see where someone will fit in your vision, and you feel less used because you then align. Like, for example, you're here and we're having this conversation simply because we met somewhere and had a conversation. I was like, no, I think what you do is part of my plan. So how do we then merge? So it's easy to answer the what is in it for another person if you are clear with what you do and your plans. And I think for me, it's better to have a plan than not to have a plan, because the moment you have resources, you squander the resources. Because, I mean, you don't have a plan, so we just go with the flow. So you end
pun intended.
you end the cycle of poverty when you have a plan, because you know, this year I'm focusing on my education, tomorrow I'm focusing on my health, the other day I'm focusing on my career, the other is my networks. That way you get brick by brick, you're building something. So I think that's why it's important to have a plan. Positive or negative, everyone is going to die, right? But then it's better you die with a plan later. Bucket lists, those are plans as well. I mean, this year I want to go for a holiday.
Yeah.
My plan is to go to all the 10 provinces. And I'm telling
Nice.
you, being intentional means that even if I'm just passing through, I have been there. I'll
Yes.
get a song and I'll be like, I was in Solo
Okay.
Province, I was in Lusaka, I was in
Yeah.
Copper Belt.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be complicated, but it has to be clear. And I've realized that we do so many things as people,
Yeah.
but because we didn't plan for them, because we don't take stock of what we've been doing, we get to live an unsatisfied life.
Yeah.
For example, I mean, I'm sure people yesterday were crying over Valentine's that they didn't get any roses, but
One of them.
but have we reflected around how many texts do I receive from the significant others? Who do we show love to?
Yeah.
You know, I've never received roses before.
Oh.
In my life, in my 33 years of life, I have never received this love. And
Wow.
one of the people I shared this with told me, buy yourself flowers. The moment you do that, you will unlock
Miley
other
Cyrus
people, you know. So
Yeah.
I think the plan is good because it gives clarity,
Yeah.
focus, but also it gives enthusiasm to achieve it. Like when you look at it, you're like, I said this,
Yes, I
do
should
it.
do it. Yes, and it's hold you accountable.
Yes.
Like the saying goes, spending to plan is
It's like
planning.
So
Exactly.
I'm gonna call her and I'm like, hi, how we doing? Please explain to me what have you achieved
Yes,
in 3
how's
months.
it
Do we need to
going?
replan again? Are you extending
Yes.
the plan?
Yes.
That's where you get more excited about life.
Definitely. I like to also tap on what you said, clarity, which is very important because your vision must be clear. Your vision must be clear for you to achieve it. Because
I've ever been in a relationship with someone and you don't know what to do.
where are we going?
Alone in the relationship.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So clarity is very important. So can you just break down what clarity does to someone's goal and someone's purpose? Because some people feel like, for me also, the vision is as big as an elephant. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
True.
So can you just break it down in a few words?
Okay, so I think clarity is what gives purpose to what you're doing, but also it shows you the how. And I did make mention that it then aligns you to the people that need to help you. If I say I want to do my masters, I'm going to go to someone who's done the masters before and ask. And then from there, I will then read the resources that are aligned to that. Then I will be able to know who do I need at this stage, you know, at is it theory, at research stage. So just having that direction helps you even have a conversation. Imagine I meet that person that needs to help me and then I don't even know what I want from them. So I think when you're clear with your objectives, it's very easy for other people to buy in because I think you're confident when you know what you're doing. You're less confident when you don't know. So clarity really just gives direction, but also it opens doors to so many things because you know where you want to go. You will not go to material when you're going to IBEX.
Yeah.
That's what clarity does. It just shows you the way. It helps you align with like-minded people.
Yeah.
It saves time.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. So, as we are coming to the end of the episode, I know they're coming back, guys. Don't worry. I would like you to ask a question to the next person who's going to be on this episode of the Flow Podcast, on the next episode of the Flow Podcast. Maybe it's you, even.
Oh, wow.
So you might need to answer your own question. So
Okay.
both of you will ask the question to the next guest. So starting with you.
Okay. So my question is, we always say, there's no change in Zambia.
True.
And I learned over time that it's not what Zambia can do for you, but what you're doing for Zambia. So what are you doing for Zambia?
I love that. Thank you. Your turn.
All right. So my question to the next guest is, I'm genuinely passionate about HIV. So sorry, the next person, but whoever it will be, my question is about is on HIV and AIDS. What are we doing? There's self-stigma and there's stigma outside there. So my question is, yourself, how are you treating people that are HIV positive? Are you also thinking they got it through other ways.
Mhm.
So, what are you telling the community about HIV? And are you supporting people that are born with HIV or those that have HIV? What are we doing for these people?
Amazing. I love that. I love that so much. So, as we're closing, the last words.
So mine is to encourage everyone out there, especially the adolescents and the young people. We have a long journey and we have the battle to finish up. So mine is if you're HIV positive, it's not the end of the world. Stay positive. Take your medicine religiously, and by religiously I mean take them every day.
Yes.
And for those of you that are negative, let's take care of ourselves. And also, let me take this opportunity to thank Kachusha. I think it's good to be with her on this podcast.
Right?
This is like her first podcast, and I think she's been a good person to my
Yes.
life.
Yes.
She's been such a
These
good
are your
mentor.
flowers.
Yes, she needs to receive them once
These
she's
are your
alive.
flowers.
So she's been a good mentor. I am here because of her. I
Yeah.
got my first award, I think, because of her, because I
Oh
got
my
to know
God.
about the nurses and midwives gala
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is last year.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, I'm so passionate about HIV, and I managed to scoop an award of
Lovely.
HIV nurse practitioner of the year. So I'm
Nice.
all grateful
Congratulations.
because of her.
Thank you so
very
much. Kachusha, lady of the hour.
Grateful. Thank you so much for that. You know,
Uh-huh.
every time I'm told women don't support women, but I think all my life I've been supported by women. So
Yeah.
it's a narrative that I hope I could be the one leading to break, because we really do take care of each other. Thank you so much for the kind words.
And also, maybe before we sign out, so like I mentioned, the award I got is because of her, but it was sponsored by Resilient Heart Foundation.
Yeah, yeah.
Or else they'll kill me.
Let's not carry on.
I'll not mention it.
Precious mention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Your turn, your last words.
I think for me it's so many times I have made bad mistakes. Yeah, I have made mistakes, and some break me to a level where I don't want to show up. But I think it's people like everyone in this room that make me show up, because even when I'm broke, even when I've messed up in life, when they show up confident to do what they're passionate, it also builds me to really just show up. So don't be scared to plan, even if at 35 you don't have a man, you don't have money, you have debts. Just know there's hope.
Yeah.
There's hope, and it goes for you showing up, being with honest people, and really having the serious, honest conversations that, you know what, I'm failing right now. I think by verbalizing, we then get help to reaffirm what we want to do, where we want to go, and by having a plan, step by step, who clear even that date. You just need a plan, a date plan. Life feels blurred. I have been in those moments, but I have learned to anchor it, of course, in God, but the genuine people that help me through. So don't be scared to plan. Put it out there. Even share it. You never know who's seeing and will be like, you said you wanted to do this. You said the Flow podcast is going on BBC. I'm taking it there.
God.
So
God.
yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is so amazing. Both of you, thank you so much for joining me here at the Flow Podcast, and thank you for extending an invitation to us. It's been amazing. And if you're listening, wherever you're listening from, whether you're at home, you're at a school bench, you're in your office, you're just lying down on the bed, your vision matters. Your purpose matters. All your dreams, all your goals are valid. Write them down. No matter how big, no matter how small, write them down. Start. You must be clear, but the most important thing to do is to start. You will start. Yes, you will fail. Fail big, fail small, fail loud, but start again. Go again. When you fail, you go again, you get better. So thank you so much. Wherever you are, please just write down and on a little piece of paper what your vision is for this year, what your vision is for next year. Whether it's to find love or to get roses like Kachusha. Doing my one process, so let's get the right
You know, like Mutinta, we haven't said that we're at Kachelo Cafe. I don't want us to be chased tomorrow because we're coming back. We're coming back for the
We're
other
coming
person.
back. Okay, so shout out to Cachelo Cafe for hosting us here today. They have amazing coffee. They have amazing cakes. I don't want to go, but they are closing, so we gotta go. So again, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check us out on our socials: Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. So from me, I have been your host today at the Flow Podcast, Jenny Vansudu, signing out, and see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.